Hey, Reinhard, welcome back to our next session of our podcast series. How are you today?
Thank you for inviting me again. I'm very fine. It's summertime here. Today we had some thunderstorms, but in general it's pretty warm and nice weather.
I can see very sunny day for us here in Dallas, Texas, with 39 degrees centigrade. I'm still using centigrade here while people talk about Fahrenheit. I think in Fahrenheit probably 97, 98 kind of thing, which is very hot considered to be. Yeah, but I'm happy I'm talking with you. Again, one more topic.
And a very interesting one today, yeah?
Exactly. We're talking about a very hot topic, artificial intelligence, and what threats, what opportunities this is going to bring for the project managers.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk today. If you scan the social media, a lot of people are talking about artificial intelligence. I have my doubts whether they know anything about what's going on behind the scenes, because people are very happy. They have just typed in some questions to ChatGPT and get some fancy answers, and they are so excited and call themselves AI specialists and offer even trainings and support. So I have my doubts. So I think we should go beyond the surface, scratching on the surface, because that's not enough.
Exactly. And that's why this topic is very important, because a lot of myths, a lot of confusion. And as you mentioned, people just do a quick question on the chat GPT, they get excited. Wow, it can help me a lot. Writing a quick letter or message to, or a statement of work or a RFP or something, a response to RFP, they get excited. Oh, wow, my job is simplified. And actually it is like that. It is simplifying the job, no doubt at all. The things which are repetitive or somebody who's charging you a lot of money can be written now by yourself by using some keywords in ChatGPT, which is great, crazy. So I have questions, and we'll go through questions and discuss about this, artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence, and how project managers ensure that ethical and responsible use of artificial intelligence in project management. So let's start with the topic.
Okay, so artificial intelligence. I think it's not a new topic. But I remember that's also a topic that was already worked on in the 60s of the last century. But it's also, I think, a dream of us humans to have machines that can basically do what we can do as human beings. Visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and make our life easier. For example, I'm a German citizen sometimes, and quite often I write in English. So I use AI-driven translation programs, which are learning from the translation they are doing, and collecting that wisdom and make translation much easier. That can be done in writing, that can be done verbally, and so that's very helpful. But indeed, what you also mentioned, that we have a lot of ethical considerations and new ones that we need to consider. So it's all about privacy, because basically there's a lot of data collection, and I don't want my data, my personal data, or my health data, for example, to be shared with other people. Data protection in Europe is now a big issue, because we have a lot of espionage coming from the East. IPRs is a big topic right now. All the Hollywood actors are on strike because it's about AI, and AI is just grabbing their images and their art and so on, and using that. So I think it's very important that we consciously deal with AI in the context of project management, that we have a strategy, that we have objectives and principles, and also maybe follow some rules and regulations to use it, then make use of the AI but also to limit the risks that comes with it.
Yeah, so it is reality and it's happening, we know that. So we have to accept that this is here. Only thing is we need to see if there's some boundaries are created. I know it's very difficult to put boundaries now, or some ethical or principles are created around that, so people know how to use or what is the limit. And it actually, that reminds me when the music industry was changing very fast. When everybody was listening on audio cassettes or on the CDs. Now it is available on freely on internet, that you can live stream any music from anywhere, whether I have rights or not, but I can just download it and listen. So what that means is the people who creating the music, the wonderful music, they are getting disadvantaged because of that. They're not getting benefit out. They don't get any money out of that. They do get lots of views and reviews, but they're not getting advantage out of that. Same thing is happening now. The movie industry and so on, somebody can create a similar movie using the artificial intelligence with some efforts, and they can still make the money, but not the real people.
Absolutely. And I was just using some AI on visuals, creating new PowerPoint slides and the visuals for that. And those tools like DALL-E, they're just building on existing visuals, and they are changing it, they are mixing it. At the end, I think it's very difficult to find out what was the original visual that was used to create these new ones. And basically, that may end up in that you don't need any artists to create that because the machine is doing it. On the other hand, I also wrote just a blog post about AI, and I was asking ChatGPT to write it for me. But in the end, actually, I was deleting that and wrote it by myself because it was so, let's say, so just factual from a style perspective. I could not identify myself with that blog post, so I said, no. I'm writing it my own. So it has opportunities. Sure, you can speed up very fast doing a blog post like that, but on the other hand, it also has limitations.
No, to be fair with the ChatGPT, like whatever, let's say you write something. One is you ask ChatGPT to write for you. Okay, that's not original work. But you can write something which the best you can, then you can ask ChatGPT, hey, this is the thing, can you define it for me? That's what the value add. Because you still maintain your originality with some refinement. Which is, sometimes I see that it's actually very polished way of saying the same thing, which I want to say, still in my style, but in more refined way. So
absolutely.
That's where I see the value add. But if
that's a way, but it's a very conscious way of dealing with AI or generative AI. And this is what we need to learn. So we just need to learn how to use it.
Exactly.
Where the boundaries are, and not go beyond those boundaries, because otherwise it's harming maybe intellectual property rights of some other people.
Exactly. And as you probably know now, lots of universities and exam are actually worried about, they're worried about the students they are not original anymore. They're asking, ChatGPT to write something for them, which, it's not that difficult to identify that this is not their language, their style, because their typical way, AI can write. And if an examiner or the teacher understand how the ChatGPT is writing, then they can easily pick that. And the problem is when you are identified that you have plagiarized your work, then you will be penalized. But anyway, so that's not the topic today. It's more about project management, how project management can benefit out of this as a project manager.
I think there are a lot of benefits that we can, let's say, harvest. I think with using AI tools, we have more transparency what's going on in the project, because it can collect data, analyze data, prepare decisions, and so on. So that can be on the project, on the program, and even on the portfolio level, because if the data is, let's say, accessible by an AI tool. And that's one of the problems, because if you have, let's say, different software systems, formats, and so on, it's very difficult. But if it's in one system, and my company, for example, switched everything to Microsoft, so it's much easier to just let the tools collect those data, analyze it. And that helps you significantly for the decision making, because if you have all this, let's say, information available and the reports, you can much easier come to a conclusion and a decision. But it's also for the forward-looking, especially if it comes to risks or business case analysis and so on. It can project data, it can forecast, it can collect also and run some certain mathematical ways of projections, which is very good for a project manager to use. And I think the key benefit for project manager, he can be relieved from this kind of work and can focus on human relations, on leadership, on communication and cooperation. Because you don't need to do this reporting and this analysis stuff anymore.
Definitely, and that's why these having AI-based project management tools which are coming up in the market. One I can definitely talk about with VXDCC, which has a lot of power, and with, of course, having good data, good information can help you to make right decision, right time. But at the same time, you need to be careful, because the system can be biased because of something. The system is making prediction or decision based on somebody else's knowledge into this. If that algorithm is not accurate or biased, then you may get some different results. So whatever result you see, you need to analyze it before you announce it or share it with somebody else. Is this what it really looks like? Is it generated by a machine? Yes, okay, it makes sense. And you may like to refine it based on your own understanding, own flavor. Yes.
Absolutely. And that's the threat side of AI. And I just had some very good examples on that. So that ChatGPT, for example, sometimes we call it hallucination. If you ask ChatGPT how many doctoral dissertations our Minister of Economy has, and he has actually 2, ChatGPT would say it has 3. And then you ask again, and again, and still it insists on that this guy is having 3 doctoral dissertations. And that may be, let's say, a flaw in the data analysis. And you can also cheat on ChatGPT. So if you are training ChatGPT to provide certain answers, it will give that kind of answers to other people. And that's very tricky. So I also asked ChatGPT about myself. And I got a very serious reply. But it was basically not me that ChatGPT was referring to, Dr. Reinhard Wagner in Germany and so on. But and it even insisted on project management books, which I have never written in my life, which do not really actually exist. But ChatGPT was very sure that I published those kind of books. So it's sometimes really strange. I also talked to some guys about that. They say they don't know how that could happen, and it can be even also breach of data security, loss of data, manipulation that we may see, and also a threat is that we actually do not understand what is happening behind the scenes of AI, and that's why we definitely need to learn how to use it and better understand what's going on behind generative AI, and not just use the results.
Yeah, definitely check how it can make your life easier, smoother, and you can mention that if you can allow the AI-based system to take help you with the decision making, looking at the data, then you can focus more on human side, the emotional intelligence, your your connection with your client and stakeholder engagement part, and the leadership qualities. So you can focus more on that rather than worrying about, hey, where's my meeting minutes? Where's my, status report, which is already created by the system. Because as you're going through, the machine is listening to you and they can probably write for you. Actually, I use it like, a simple thing, on the Word, you can use a function as dictate. So if I'm talking with you, instead of taking minutes, I use that start the dictate while talking, like in this kind of environment, the system will start capturing all whatever we're talking. So then my job is, I can ask you the ChatGPT, hey, can you pick out the main point out of this? And bang, within a few minutes, I have my meeting minutes out of it, which is good way of, or efficient way of using the technology to make your life easier.
Absolutely. And talking about capturing notes or minutes of meetings and so on, that's pretty easy nowadays. Transcripts of Microsoft Teams sessions, it's very easy translating that into a different language. And even speaking that out loud to you, all that is possible. But still, you see a lot of flaws in that kind of help, and you need to be involved in the way it creates any content.
Yeah, actually, somebody reached out to me for a PgMP class in German. I was thinking, maybe I can use ChatGPT to help me out. I'm speaking in English, and that's converted for me in German language.
I think there are tools available who can help you, but I'm not sure about the quality. I'm using here, we call it DeepL. That's a translation tool. That's very powerful. It's AI driven. It's by a unicorn here in Germany, in Cologne, and it's now translating into, I think, several dozen languages. And the quality of the translation is nearly perfect. So I like those kind of tools very much.
What's the name of tool?
DeepL. Deep, like deep.
Deep.
L.
DeepL.
It's deep learning.
Deep
so
learning.
This is why the tool is called DeepL.
Perfect. Good.
It's a perfect tool.
Yeah. So look, there's a lot of things are happening, good things are happening, good way of managing your project program portfolio, more efficiency. So, use it. Use those tools, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind. When you go for a job interview or you don't know what they're talking about, you will be feeling awkward. So you need to go through this learning process, and this new technology is coming, is already here. So try to figure out, learn more and more, and use it so you can be more efficient in your new job. But that's what kind of expectation nowadays, because they know that AI is available. You can do a lot of things by AI. So they also expect that. Good. My next question is, with the increasing use of AI in project management, what potential threats or challenges should project manager be aware of?
I think we tackled that question already, because I said there's hallucination, breach of data, a loss of data or manipulation. But maybe one thing to add here is that I see that especially in the PMO or the project offices, there will be a lot of jobs lost.
Oh, yeah.
Because also in my company, we have a lot of people that are staffed into PMOs, and if AI is taking over these kind of jobs, like routine reporting, dashboards, and so on and so forth, I think those people would lose their jobs. But I always say, on the other hand, there will be new jobs created, because we have now a lot of new guys called citizen developers, who build on low-code, no-code, who use Power Automate, Power BI, and these kind of tools. And they're very helpful. They support the project managers by analyzing data, by creating small apps and so on, for capturing data and so on, and creating those dashboards. And we even have now the first prompt engineer. Those are the guys who have the capabilities of asking the right question to ChatGPT, and training, let's say, these kind of AI software applications to get the right answers out. So I think the threat is on the one hand side losing certain jobs, and that will be especially in the PMOs. But on the other hand, we're creating new jobs, new qualifications, but for that we need to learn.
Yeah, actually this threat is real, and people will lose job, especially where automation can be achieved by a simple machine or a simple tool. So if you are in such jobs, so definitely you need to upskill yourself to see what is coming up. You cannot stay on the same role, same thing what you have been doing. Find ways to learn new technologies. Why not? If AI is your enemy, then why don't you make friendship with the AI? Learn about it. Be better than AI. You cannot be, when you can say better than AI, but be friend of that and see what are the features I can use to get myself better in my new role. Because no point of regretting or feeling sad or upset, anger, because nobody's listening. When these entrepreneurs are bringing this technology, they are, of course, as you know, everybody is there for making money. For shareholders, for stakeholders, for anybody, the owners, and they will try to do anything to minimize the cost, and they will bring this technology. So that will impact a lot of jobs. But you, as a project manager, program manager, PMO, or anybody who's doing any things which can be automated, think carefully. Okay, you cannot stay in the automated this kind of job. Find ways to learn and be ready for the new things coming up for you. Okay. So what is the future of project management with artificial intelligence? What do you anticipate as the future trends and advancement in artificial intelligence?
Actually, I started saying that we see a lot of posts on social media and so on, talking about using ChatGPT in the context of project management. And today there was a release of PM Otto, our good friend Ricardo Vargas and Antonio. They were publishing that, so a website which is let's say a ChatGPT assistant for project managers online. But if you look deeper into this kind of application, it's just the beginning. It's very simple. It's not really using a lot of the AI potential that is in the market. And I think in the project management profession, nobody really understands what's going on behind the scenes in the AI community. And I'm very fortunate my two sons, both sons, are studying AI. Here at the Technical University in Munich, and one of my sons is actually right now doing a study on the technologies and the emerging technologies in the area of AI. And it's amazing if you see what developed within the last 5 years and what is coming up the next 5 years. So I can tell you that ChatGPT is just boring. It is just very basic. Even the version 3 and 4 that we are actually now using, and there will be much more coming up. And this is why it's also very difficult to predict what will be the applied AI in the project management domain, because it's so fast in the development. And we do just now, my son and myself, we are doing a study, and we will publish that, I think, rather in September or October. And what I can already see that there will be all areas of project management affected. It starts from the ideation of projects, so that you're much faster in creating a project idea, making the business case sound and so on, till the organizational learning for projects. So lessons learned, implement that in the organization and so on. And it will definitely have a huge impact on the collaboration in a project, but also between projects. And it will also affect significantly the governance of the project portfolio and the programs and projects within. So there are a lot of areas, I would say nearly all areas are affected by that. And just today, a professor colleague, she published on YouTube a video on a checklist. It was called the 9 steps of using ChatGPT for a successful project.
Yeah.
And I know that professor very well, and she has no clue about technologies, but she's just talking about the application, and that's nice, that's fine. But that's not the deep application. So we need to understand more what is the technology behind, then to see also how will it affect product management in this year, next year's, and see the trends.
Yeah, look, this is, I mean, I'm excited about this actually. And I had app with this PgMP for you, and the job was done very basic by the developer, and I was not involved too much into that. I thought they are the expert, they know. But if I want to stay present in this industry, I have to have better app. So okay, with no knowledge of app or something, okay, I asked ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, imagine that you are expert in building its app, and I want to build a app for project management professional or programming professional. What are the things I should have in my app? Immediately I have 10-15 points, and then what can I do? Can you give me create a wireframe as well? No problem, do something there. So in no time I can see that something which, I mean, I was just thinking to kind of reality. Yes, it's too far, it was too far at the time, but I can see that, okay, with no knowledge I can have somebody assisting me. So I'm talking to somebody like a developer or a assistant who generally take notes, and they come back to you after 5 days and something. But immediately I got this 10 points, and then I further down, if I want to add this feature, how it's going to look like, if I do this, how do this. So lots of things I learned from that. So I mean, I'm really excited. My app is the new app is about to publish, which will have a PgMP, PfMP, PMP, RMP, SP. It's going to cover all the certificate from PMI with a detailed understanding of task and the processes and lots of questions. And this is happening very fast, so I'm very excited. So the projects in current and future are going to be much faster than what we have done. From start to reality, at least you will know if this is a good idea or not. If not good idea, let's stop it now, before we spend a lot of money. If it's a good idea, let's continue, and you continue to ask various machines and tools to help you out. Yes, this is my experience, and I think I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to release my new app with lots of features.
Absolutely, and that's talking about the opportunities that AI can bring to project management, and I've already mentioned some of them, but acceleration, I think that's something that will help us in the project. But it's easier accessible. It's something everyone in the society can use. So we are always talking about the business project managers, but think of the project managers in the communities that do some social work and so on. And if they have a powerful app or application with an AI-driven, let's say, project management behind, I think they're much easier to stick to their time, reduce the cost and the risk in their project. So that's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, good. I'm excited. All right. So how should project managers effectively adapt their skills and mindset to incorporate AI into their project management practice?
Basically, I think that's a key aspect of the whole situation. So it's nice to know that there are AI tools, but still it is a tool. And a fool with a tool is still and so on. This is saying. So we need to focus on education and training in project management on these kind of technical skills. We are used to just convey methods and tools, soft skills and business or strategic skills to the people in project management. But now we need to make them familiar with what kind of applications, how to analyze data. So it's also about data analysis, statistics, let's say problem-solving techniques, these kind of things. And even if I look into the potentials of AI, we are much faster in creating a new business case. But so therefore, we need to know how to create a business case and what kind of data we need for that business case and so on to turn projects into tangible results. So that requires a different skill set as in the past for a project manager.
Yeah, so skills are still important. Like you mentioned about the business case. I can ask ChatGPT to write a business case for me. But if I don't understand myself what business case should look like, or what should I, I just take the business case as it is, or should I refine it based on what real client really expecting from this? So that skill has to be there. You still have to learn what's the content of business case and how can I, of course, write the better business case or program management plan, project management plan, project, all these things you still need to know and before ChatGPT can do for you. Yes, it can do for you a lot of things, but it can still, and also be careful when you say, I'm an artificial intelligence AI tool and I don't have all this, I'm just making up, it's all also disclaimer is also there. Just make sure you check yourself. You don't use as it is, or you cannot just share the information as it is with your client or your stakeholders.
I always compare that with the time where we had no GPS, no navigation systems, and so we used compass and stars and the sun or the moon to orient ourselves in the military or Pathfinder times. But nowadays you just switch on your navigation or mobile phone and it tells you to turn left or right, and some people end up in deep troubles by just following the advice. So I think sometimes you need to keep your eyes open and just need to know how to navigate without a GPS, because in some areas there's no GPS. And that's exactly, I think, the same here in the AI application, that you just need to know what's going on behind the scenes and not just trust on that the voice is taking you to the right place.
You reminded me one example. Sometime back, I was in Sydney, and I have to go to another place, and I asked and put that information, and it was saying you go all the way, cross the river, bridge, and go all the way, and 5 kilometer, bang, 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 bang. And I followed that and realized that it was actually in front of where I was standing, just in front of me, because in one way you cannot.
Don't trust the AI, but just have your own instincts or senses on.
And another thing is, like, if your AI system is not up to date, you will get older information, just like that's like GPS. Because if you, like in my car, which is older car, 2013, the GPS is old and the construction in Dallas is happening, so I cannot find my own home on the map. So if I'm just searching for my home from somewhere else, I cannot reach my place. So yeah, how up to date the system is, that's also important. Yeah. Okay. All right. So how should project manager effectively adapt their skill? I think that's what we talked about. Okay, next question is, what top AI technologies should project manager consider implementing to enhance the project performance and outcomes?
In 2020, the ipma together with PwC, they did a survey. I was part of that one, looking at the impact of AI on project management. So it was 2020, so already now I think 4 years passed. But they identified machine and deep learning as the key tools that we will use in project management, followed by blockchain and augmented and virtual reality. So these kind of things already play a very important role. And my sons use these kind of machine and deep learning, for example, to collect data on two people are talking to each other, and with a visual recognition, you can identify whether they are in agreement or not. And that's a bit scary, because if the cameras are identifying your feelings or whether you agree in a negotiation to the price the other one is saying, but you don't want to agree, but your face is saying that you agree. That's a bit scary. So again, we need to be very cautious with using these kind of tools. And another very practical example, blockchain. So we were doing an EPC study, I think also 3 or 4 years back. EPCs on engineering, procurement, and construction projects, so very large plant projects. And if you have partners all over the world, you can have smart contracts where you do all this with crypto and blockchain technology. So you do not need to have physical, let's say, financial transactions anymore. And that's very fascinating. And if you look into the construction area anyway, this building information modeling is, I think, a very nice technique now that you can work from wherever you work and just do an optimized design of your power plant. And also using augmented and virtual realities to just check whether your design is having flaws, whether your building machine can enter the site through a certain bridge or entrance, and so on and so forth. So it's fascinating what kind of tools are being used nowadays. And this is why also it's very interesting that if you check the research, there's not much research on AI, but most of the research is actually going on in the construction area. I would have expected it to be in the IT section or somewhere, but no, it is in the construction area where most of the articles, scientific articles, are published. So that's quite fancy.
Yeah, and you talked about, this modeling and other thing, which is happening important for the construction industry, because they, when they're building something very massive into similar structure, they make it using some clay and whatever way, as a 3D model. Now that model can be done, or it is being done using the computer system. So when I visited Frankfurt last time, I met my student and my friend Michael. He took me to his factory, Han Automation, and he was showing all his factory, so complicated, fully automated machines. He said, look, Dharam, before, when customer come to us, we understand the requirement, and using this software, we create a 3D model. So previously, we have to create some big, like a small model. Now we are creating everything within the system, and we can see every part, and that helps to win the customer confidence, as well help us to do the job better. And we can find out the fault. If there's a problem happening, about to happen, we can figure it out earlier than is about to happen.
Absolutely. So the combination AI and robotics is also a huge area of application. Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. Good. So does artificial intelligence disrupt project management? If yes, what are the implications for project managers?
I'm a bit cautious calling it a disruption. So nowadays we use very often this word disruption, because I think project management, the discipline, evolves since the beginning in the 1950s. And even before, I would say, it is evolving. I think certainly all these technologies and AI will change the way we manage projects. It will still be a tool. It's a means for making a project real, or making it maybe faster, maybe better, optimized, less risks, and so on and so forth. And I think if you ask for the implication on the project managers, I think they can focus more on questions like, why do we do the project? So on the strategic level, because very frankly, most of the project managers are just there for the execution of the project. Now, project managers are more holistically also looking into the whole business case and the rationale. Why do we do things? They can focus more on human relations. And what I think is also something very interesting, that they can focus also more on themselves. So we already talked in one of the podcasts about health issues of project managers and sustainability and things like that. So that sometimes gets lost if you're too much focusing on the execution of project management. But now with AI tools, I think you have a bit more time to focus on what's really important in projects, right?
Exactly. I mean, I'm talking to so many project program managers, portfolio managers. They are so busy. And I was talking to a lady this morning. She says, Dharam, I'm working 2 very big projects, and I wake up in the morning and I have a 4-year-old son as well, and I have to, morning is going with him, and then whole day, yes, the client is US based, but my day and then night goes into this kind of cycle. And I don't find time to do my other things, which I like, personal development. And she wanted to do PgMP, but she's a little bit hesitant to start as well because of the lack of time. So, and that will give you more time to manage your personal life and do your personal development, look after yourself, health, and So mainly use this tool to automate your life. When I say automate, maybe like some health thing which you are missing, like walking, gym, or swimming. Find time to do that, and that will happen only when we can automate a few things. Okay, you write something for me, verify. Of course, when business realized, hey, there were 2 projects you were now we can handle 4 projects. You still be in the same place. No, but yes, you need to find better way of doing things. You look for efficiency, effectiveness. Yes, the tools, can they replace you? Probably not. They can only use them to complement your work.
Absolutely, I would underline that. Yeah,
complementing. Yes, you can teach the tool as well as learn from that, and as a friends, we are friends. AI, we are your friend. So not enemy until we get general AI. When AI is taking over the human. I don't know. Will we see that in our lifetime? Maybe. All right. What do you think?
I have a nice book. I need to find it. I was a bit scared by that book. I will find it in parallel.
Okay. So
let me just look for it.
Okay, can I go for next question?
Yes.
What potential future applications or areas of scientific research could benefit from rapid acceleration provided by AI?
Scientific research. Well, I think there will AI covers nowadays all areas. I don't see any area which is not, let's say, affected by it. Even if you look into the agricultural area, where you have now these drones, where you have weather forecasts, and drones are identifying whether the soil is wet enough or needs some watering, or looking into the bugs and stuff. So I think even in the agricultural sector, which is a very traditional sector, AI is being used. So in the past, for example, in the financial sectors, we were totally dependent on the tools that our brokers, specialized financial institutions had. Nowadays, I'm using, let's say, robo-advisors, ETFs, electronically traded funds, and so on, because just the computers are doing, and their fees are very small compared to the investment bankers in the past. So this is why also in that area it's working. And we already talked about the natural language processing, that you have now virtual assistants that just accompany you, answer all the questions you may have. Translation tools, we talked about that one. Even now, we could let a tool translate what we are now talking in English to Kazakh language and others. So it's unbelievable what kind of tools are available. And sometimes I'm a bit lost. And I just saw, I think the day before yesterday, a very nice visualization of all the tools that are now available for all these kind of different applications. But it's a huge mind map. I cannot cover all that because that's too much. But
Too much, yeah.
it is covering all areas basically.
Even the ChatGPT 4, you can have lots of add-ons. Doing things like, okay, you want to draw a pitch flow diagram or I use few of them. It's very powerful. I want to say, okay, this is my task. Can you help me to create a flow diagram? Then it's asking what diagram, what type of diagram you want. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, I want this. Okay, give me all of them. Then you can see which one is looking good.
By the way, I found just the book, and I read it, I think twice. It's a British author. It's called Ian McEwan, Machines Like Me.
Machines.
And it's Machines Like Me. And he's talking about a very advanced robot for the household. It looks like a human. It acts like a human. And actually, a couple buys that kind of advanced robot, where the robot, which is a male robot version, friends the girlfriend of that man, and even goes to bed with her and so on and so forth. It's really scary if this robot is described as a human being, but in the end, all this generation of these robots undertakes suicide. And now you would ask yourself why, because they say that just the human beings are so unintelligent that they are not worth of having these intelligent machines like me. So it's a very interesting book. Maybe you read it. It's pretty scary, but it also says again, like it's up to us that we need to deal with these robots in a way that makes sense.
So, believe it or not, it's not far away actually. The way the technology is improving, you see all the time that this machine now can talk, can smile, can have expressions, and as you mentioned, soon you start seeing a human-like robot moving around your house with full expressions, and you said you can't differentiate. And only difference is they will not fight, they will not argue with you, which is plus point. Anyway, so okay. So all right, next question is what difficulties or constraints are AI model encountering when attempting to apply easily across many domains?
That's, I think, I already mentioned that, and this is what we see now in industry, which is the biggest problem. That you have data available, and that is because AI is depending on a data lake, and that this data is accessible. And if it's in different system, you have an ERP system, which is different than, let's say, your CRM system or your personal device and so on and so forth. So, and that it also depends very much on the quality of this data. And you cannot imagine how difficult it is to really acquire quality data, because that's very limiting. Another limiting factor is also the domain-specific knowledge. And now in project management, we have still very limited, let's say, knowledge of these chatgpt and so on. I was asking very specific product management questions to chatgpt, and some of them it could easily answer, but some of them, they were totally weird answers, because actually chatgpt is still giving you an answer whether it has a clue or not. I think that is being worked on at many universities, especially here in Munich. They have a university and a lot of people and students like my sons working on these kind of issues. So I think it's just a matter of time how to improve also the data quality, the accessibility, and also the domain-specific knowledge. And I think we can see that in the very near future. So it's improving, it's evolving all the time.
Yeah, and I did a test with the chatgpt using my PgMP questions. So where this is straightforward, something you can find easily is easy, and chatgpt is okay. But whenever there's a logical thinking required, then it was failing. And I'm saying, okay, hang on, my answer is this. Oh, I'm sorry, let me correct myself. So immediately correct as well. So I think the success rate was around 50%. Either my questions are really good or ChatGPT was done. Maybe the ChatGPT questions are good. Yes, but yeah, 50% not passing score. So ChatGPT cannot pass PGP exam at the moment.
At the moment, but we have other cases where master studies, ChatGPT just passed the test. So, but now I'm also a professor. It is also now a challenge for us to really ask the right questions, so that ChatGPT is not able to answer that kind of questions, and or at least identify whether a student used that tool. If you have an online test or something.
I'm also reviewing lots of applications for PgMP, PfMP, and I can easily see that if somebody has written application based on using a ChatGPT, because it has a particular pattern, how to write, how to explain, and if you are yourself using that ChatGPT, you can easily figure it out. So just like you are getting expert in writing or using the ChatGPT, the professors and the experts are also getting expert. So yes, just like we have a security alert, things going on. We are advancing, but at the same time,
it's a bit like cats and dogs. Huh?
Cats and dogs. Yes, you may get advantage a little bit, but at the same time, but if you get caught, you will be penalized for plagiarizing. You don't want to go through that process. But yes, if you do use the ChatGPT for writing something, make sure it has your own flavor, or write yourself and then ask, can you refine it? I think that's better way of asking, rather than, hey, can you write an essay for me or a story for me? Yeah, it can write for you, but it's not your own. Does not have your own flavor.
Later, if the professor will ask you any question about the text, he will then identify that you have no clue what is being written.
That means you have to study before you submit, because in a way, the objective is achieved. The professor is looking for that you learn. If you got the work and then you learn, fine, in a way. But yes, be ready for getting penalized for plagiarizing. All right, my next question and last question: are there any new trends or technologies that can assist the project managers in overcoming the difficulty of growing AI projects?
I think what's interesting is also, especially in Europe, that we have governance frameworks. Let's start with that aspect, because you asked also in the first question about ethics. IEEE and the European Union, they published AI governance frameworks with very important, let's say, ethical guidelines, and also insisting on regulatory compliance and risk management issues about the AI development. I think if someone is really using it, we should have a look into that. And my IT department in the company also, they issued a warning using ChatGPT, because whatever you give in or type into ChatGPT, which is basically your client's address, certain know-how, that will stay in that tool, that will stay in the internet. You cannot delete or withdraw it in any way. So we need to be very careful. I think they're also increasing the project management tools. I just mentioned one here, Planisware, which is project management or portfolio management software, which is very much used here in Europe. And they are implementing and embedding AI tools for let's say data versioning, model tracking, and so on and so forth in project management. So I think that's very good to just have a look and see what they are capable of doing. And if you also look into collaboration platforms, so for better communication, knowledge sharing, document management, and so on, I think that's also very interesting to see that you have chatbots, you have other application that makes collaboration much easier. So I guess there will be also in the future some consulting firms like Tiba, my company, so we are preparing to support our clients in using AI. There will be training institute who will offer these kind of trainings to prepare people, but there will be tools to make use of the tools that we see in the AI. And so I think that's a normal development process.
Exactly. I mean, look, a lot of things are happening in this space, and a lot of software platform being developed. One of the things I've been talking again, VXDCC, Virtual Transformation Digital Command Center, which can do lots of things and give you predictable answers or help you with risk management, issue management, and entire organization can rely on that one system, with the sales to the project management, program management, to the operations happening, supply chain in one single platform. So there are a number of tools coming up in the market, and everybody is trying to have catch up, like you mentioned, trainings or consulting services, which helping organizations to get ready for AI. So why not get use of this? Learn how to be part of the journey, rather than it's time gone when you could have opposed, or we could have stopped it. It's long back now. So be friend with AI, learn more about and what else you can use to make your job better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we need to be ahead the crowd and not a follower. I think that's otherwise also AI is getting out of the hand. And just a few weeks back, Sam Altman was here in Munich. He talked also to my son, and he was very clear, saying even we need to stop the development on artificial intelligence for a while and try to reconsider the way we develop it and we use it. Now he is moving into the area of vault coins and cryptos and stuff. This is why in Europe we go a different way. We start regulating AI because we believe still we need more regulations to control what's going on.
Exactly. Great. Thank you very much, Reinhard, for another beautiful talk and sharing your knowledge, expertise in the space, AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. And believe it or not, you are the one who encouraged me to use ChatGPT when I was in Frankfurt, and I was struggling how to get started with this, but I opened my account and started using it, and believe it or not, I'm loving it. Yeah. So as I said, ChatGPT is my friend, and AI is my friend. So be friend with the new technology. Don't be scared of them. They are wonderful. They can make your life very easy. So use it, and feel you will be good. You will enjoy this journey. Yes, if you hate, if you don't like to know, yes, nobody will stop, but you will find yourself left behind. So with this thought, I'd like to conclude today's podcast with thank you to Reinhard for your wonderful, wonderful talk, and your sharing the knowledge, and you being the author of 41 books. I used to think 31 books. You corrected me that your ChatGPT told you, actually, you're not 37, they are 41 books. Which you probably don't. So sometimes we learn from our friend at ChatGPT. And look, thank you. And guys, please, keep learning and keep watching our podcast and put your comments and reach out to us, for anything we can help you with the consulting, training, and ChatGPT now, and with any tools there. All right. Great stuff. Thank you very much. And I will see you again, Reinhard, and see you guys very soon.